Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Over the last 6 or 8 months or so, we've finally taken a look at the Palmetto State Armory's various types of rifles. Now, they're definitely known as being one of the lowest cost, and I'm definitely not willing to say lowest quality, because for the first time when I looked at them, I was very impressed with what I saw. The first rifle that I looked at was the KS-47, which was their AR that takes an AK magazine, and when I compared that to the rest of the ones in the industry, it was pretty incredible to see that looked like it was the finest one that was out there. That was most accurate. It took the wide variety of magazines and had no issues with malfunctioning whatsoever. So sometimes we can't look at the cost and say because something costs less means that it's made cheap, because that's not the case at all. Then I looked at the PA-15, which is basically their M4, which was the basic rifle. I mean, you're looking at a sub $600 rifle that is a basic M4 type carbine. When we looked at that rifle, there was nothing that was really missing compared to anybody else in the industry who was even cost double of the cost of that was. There was nothing that was missing from it. The machining was very well done. The quality of the barrels was excellent. Accuracy was up to par with anything else that was out there, regardless of the price tag on it. We decided to take a look at another Palmetto State Armory rifle, the G310. Now, the G310 is their 308 versions. They also have them in 6.5 Creedmoor. The particular one that we got here happens to be the 308. And when you look at it, it looks basic. This is a lot of rifle for $1,099. There's absolutely no question about that. So I think we're just going to jump right into it. We're going to see what it is. Now, as I said, I really wanted to look at the price tag versus what you get. That does not necessarily mean there comes a lot of companies where you're paying a lot just for a name. Whether it's the quality of the rifles demands that or not, you pay a lot for the name. It appears as though Palmetto State is really kept with wanting to maintain price points for the average person who does not have $3,000 to go out and spend on a 308. They provide you with a very, very well-made rifle. We're going to start from the rear. We have an STR stock manufactured by Magpul. They've made a lot of use of Magpul furniture in the past. This is an excellent stock. You have a locking latch on it. You have your latch that operates left. You have your lever that operates the lock. And then you have an additional lock to lock it in place so it can't move without the locking lever being pressed. You also have a couple compartments for batteries there as well. You have a reversible QD attachment point on there as well. You have a 6-position receiver extension. Now, the receiver extension on this is mil spec. And this is going to play into a lot of what we're going to be talking about with this rifle later on down the road for as far as the recoil that was felt. But we'll hold off on that until we get to, we talk about the firing. We have a standard AR-10 type charging handle. Now, the lower and upper receivers are the DPMS pattern. As you can see, we have a curvature to the rear of the receiver and the front of the lower receiver. That's indicative of the DPMS pattern, where the arm light gives you more of a squared off type pattern. This is the DPMS pattern, compatible with most of the DPMS features out there. You notice we do have a forward assist, fire cartridge case deflector, as well as a ejection port dust cover. Now, the lower receiver is completely standard. You have a standard safety on the right-hand side. You have a standard safety on the left-hand side, standard bolt catch, standard magazine release. It's basic AR-10. You also notice that we have the trigger guard as an integral part of the receiver. Now, the receiver is 7075 T6 aircraft aluminum, which is the standard for all the industry. We have a Type 3 hard coat anodizing on here, black as well. We have a no frills basic upper and lower receiver. Mil standard 1913 continuous rail on the upper receiver, and the handguard we'll get into in a couple minutes. The trigger we have in here is the STR trigger, which is manufactured by Palmetto State Armory. This one here, when you look at when I took the weight of it, was just at 5 pounds. It's not what you would call a match grade trigger. It's more of a combat trigger, but it is nickel boron coated, so it does give you a little bit more, a little smoother, a little more slippery, so it gives you a little bit better of a trigger than your standard. So the handguard. Now, the barrel we have on here is 18 inches, so we got about a 15-inch handguard, 6061 aircraft grade aluminum. Now, this is M-LOK. As we know in the industry today, everything is M-LOK. It seems like Keymount has gone by the complete wayside. Same thing with a lot of the proprietary designs that you've seen many companies come out with, which had rail segments that screwed on. But we have M-LOK. We also have the Manta rail panels on here for the M-LOK. Now, as many of you guys know, I've been a big fan of Manta. They have some of the best. They do have the best materials in the industry for as far as heat resistance. Now, these are relatively new. Manta, as you know, was primarily used on the mil standard 1913 rails. So they were asked by one of their military customers to make one that would go on the M-lock, is what you see here. You have a two slot segment here, which can be cut in half. And you have basically a polymer wedge that pushes everything together so it locks everything in place. Now, when you have free-floating handguards like this, especially ones that are attached to the barrel nut, this is a big heat conductor. So to have a really good protector such as the Manta on here, it makes the gun that much more comfortable to hold when you do get that handguard a little bit more in the hot. And if you're looking to save a few extra bucks, we do have a discount code for all the products on the Manta website. Now, the barrel we have on here is 18-inch, more like a recce type barrel. This 416R stainless steel with a 1 in 10-inch twist. This is a very good quality barrel, especially for the price tag that we're looking at. Now, with a 1 in 10-inch twist, we're looking at anything 168 grain, 175 grain accuracy. Attached to the barrel is a low-profile gas block. Now, this is a dimpled barrel, so once you do lock in the lower screws, you do have a dimple on the other side of the barrel that will prevent the gas block from moving forward during firing, which is one of the problems that you do normally see with pin-on, which is one of the problems that you normally see with the non-pin-on or anyone that's put on by screws or set screws or whatnot. You do risk that possibility of that moving forward. By having the dimple on there and Loctite those screws down, you're not going to have any worry about having the gas block move forward, thus shutting off your gas. We also have a standard A2 profile compensator on here as well, which can be removed for any kind of a muzzle brake or flash suppressor that you would use. Next thing I want to take a look at is the bolt carrier group and the magazine. Now, the magazine this comes with is more of a DPS type magazine. However, this will work with any of the Magpul or any of the other SR25 type magazines, which we tested it with the Magpul as well as the steel magazines that it came with. The bolt carrier that the rifle comes with is Toolcraft. As you can see, that it has a black nitride finish on it. Now, the materials on the bolt, 9310 steel, and the carrier is 8620 steel. Very, very well made. You have staked carrier key screws, grade 8 fasteners. Overall quality is excellent, very, very well machined. The bolt carrier group is the heart and soul of any of these operating mechanisms because you have the bolt, you have the gas system. If any one of these things is not done properly, you do stand risk to have failures to extract due to gas loss. Very, very well made bolt carrier group. So then what we're going to do now is we're going to take this rifle to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. There's two primary types of ammunition that we utilize with this. We utilize the Black Hills 168 and 175 grain OTM ammunition. Now, the Black Hills ammunition is by far some of the highest quality ammunition in the industry, utilized for military law enforcement use, many contracts for the U.S. military. So we tried both rounds. Now, the Black Hills 175 grain OTM ammunition had an average velocity of 2,522 feet per second, and the 168 was an average velocity of 2,505. The best group we had was with the 168 grain OTM, and that was 1.59 inches. That was shot by Brandon from the gun room in Shenandoah. Now, for a rifle of this cost, this is a tremendous degree of accuracy. Now, this is also a brand new barrel. This barrel has not really been broken, and we only had a couple hundred rounds through this barrel. I'm sure as time went on, we could probably even increase that for this price range. This is an excellent group size. Now, the impressions from shooting. Everything was great, but I will tell you this rifle kicked like a mule. Now, the two versions of this rifle, this particular one does not have the adjustable gas block, but Palmetto State Armory does offer an adjustable gas block. Well, we just happened to get this one. This rifle, being only about 8 pounds, had one heck of an impact. It was, for as far as recoil was concerned. Again, a lightweight rifle. Now, there's something else that contributes to this, and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but this is probably a good time to go over the buffer systems that are used on the 308 rifles. So as we previously stated, the receiver extension that we use on this one is a standard mil-spec M4 receiver extension. Now, for most companies, they like to go with this due to the fact that they're able to utilize 5.56 or M4 parts on the 308. However, when you look at the companies who are doing that, they're primarily the commercial companies. The mil-spec companies, the companies that are making the SR-25 or AR-10 type rifles for military use, utilize a proprietary receiver extension that is extended so it will allow you to use proper M4 length weights. So what we're going to show here is what we refer to as the short buffer. Now the short buffer is what allows you to use the standard M4 type receiver extension with the 308. This is the length of a standard M4 or M16 type carbine buffer. As you can see, we have a significant difference in length. On the M4, you have room for 3 weights. On this one, you have room for 2 weights. So if you were to compare the two of them, for instance, you're looking at 5.4 ounces versus 3.8 ounces. That's a big difference in weight. This is an entire weight. So a couple things are happening here. Due to the fact that you have a shorter buffer and you have a lighter buffer, it's going to increase your velocities going rearward and forward. You're also going to have less time on closing with the shorter buffer than you are with the longer. So what that means is a couple things. Shorter buffer, more recoil, higher velocity. Utilizing the standard M4 type, you're looking at lower velocity, lower recoil. Now, another area where this comes into play is on full auto. If you were to look at most of the rifles that are utilizing the commercial buffer on slow motion, you will see bolt carrier mounts. There's not enough mass and not enough weight that you can put in this small buffer for you to have a rifle that will function properly on fully automatic with this particular one. It's very difficult to make it work, and you do see bolt carrier mounts. On a semi-automatic rifle, does it matter? Not really, because bolt carrier mounts doesn't really mean anything. What it does mean is higher recoil. So when you look at the two different systems, a military AR-10 type versus a commercial, military type, you will see the M4 type with a longer receiver extension due to reliability, due to ability to work on full auto, due to reduced recoil. So this is really where you're getting the additional recoil from with this model. But was it something that was a showstopper? Absolutely not. But this is one of those little technical details that, why do you have two different gas systems for the same rifle? Which is why do you have two different recoil systems? Now, this one you will see in the LMT, you'll see it in the HK, you'll see it in the Knights, you'll see it in the SIG type rifles, Caracal. All those military grade rifles you will see longer receiver extension, standard weight. That allows you to have the H3 buffer, which is what you would generally require in most of these rifles, is the full H3 buffer. Now, the H3 buffer will utilize 3 of the tungsten weight. Now, each tungsten weight has the weight of 2 steel. So 1 tungsten, 2 steel. In here, you will have a complete 3 tungsten. So that's the weight of 6 steel. In here, you generally will have 1 tungsten or 2 tungsten or 2 steel. Again, lighter weight, less expensive. But I wanted to address the recoil issue, which is not unique to this rifle, but we get a lot of questions. Well, why is there 2 different buffer systems set up for the 308 rifles? And that happens to be it. Now, we did add a couple more things on here for testing. Tango Down ACB-4 bipod. Now, this is a very well-made bipod. It's very much oversized, especially for a rifle this size. But this is the first time I had a chance to utilize this one. You do have an ability to move forward or backward. Bipod worked just fine for our testing. The next thing that we added to it was the scope. SIG 1:6 to 24 optic. This is an incredible scope for a small MSRP of $816. The scope is a very high quality for MSRP of $816. Very well made. Optics are excellent. This is more of a standard scope you put on a AR-10 type rifle, the 1:6 power. Most of the time for the AR-15 types, it's from 1:4. 1:6 gives you a little bit of extra. Gives you a little bit extra power magnification for use with a 308 cartridge. The mount that we have on here is the Geisley Geisley mounts, as you know, are some of the best in the industry. These in Spur are probably the top two, so we utilize both of those. So those are just three of the additional parts that we put on here to test the rifle. I have nothing I can say really bad about the G310. It's very, very well made for that cost. Now, like anything else, could be a starting point. Once you get the rifle for $1,099, now we can change out the handguards, we can change out barrels, we can change out pistol grips, stocks, triggers. We can really make this thing into a highly specialized rifle that can do whatever you would want it to do. Which is a lot of these lower cost rifles. This is really how you look at them. These are building blocks. This is something this is how you start off, and then as you have time and as you have money, you can add to it, and you can continually improve it. The barrel on here, the stainless steel match grade barrel. I believe that once this thing gets broken in, you're probably going to see sub MOA. There's a very good chance because with a brand new barrel, we were seeing just about sub MOA, not quite, but we were there. And the ammunition. The ammunition, if you want, you have to use good ammunition if you want the accuracy. You're not going to put a ball cartridge in here generally and get sub MOA. It's going to cost. You're going to have to use the higher quality ammunition. But when you add all that stuff together, you could have one hell of a rifle suppressed. If you wanted to put a can on here, you have no problem doing that either. But it's an excellent starting block. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.